Very warm welcome to all the people attending today's masterclass, which is rightly as presented on the screen, demystifying different HR job roles. So, very quickly, I won't waste much time and give a brief introduction about the speaker for today, which is Archna Bhardwaj. With 20 plus years of experience and a double postgraduate degree in human resources and human rights law, Archana has hands on experience in establishing and leading HR operations and talent management for large multinational organizations across different domains. Master Union welcomes you, Archana, for the session for today. And since it is put up on the screen as well, the agenda for today's discussion is demystifying different HR job roles. Before we jump into the session right away, very crisp announcement that I would like to make here is that the MasterCamp's program in human resource management, the application deadline for the same program is 17th of November, and I would happy to answer any of the admission related queries towards the end of the session. All right, over to you, Archana.
Aditi, thank you so much. And it's a very interesting session because, this is something like we were talking earlier before we started off. This was something that I was very intrigued with when I was trying to make my career in HR. I really didn't know at that time that what HR actually does. And it took me almost 20 years to kind of demystify. But thanks to Master Union, we are going to do it today in just 30 minutes flat. And what we are going to do today is kind of combine the various experiences that we had, not just mine, but various experiences that we had as a team in KPMG, who is going to facilitate these sessions once you join MasterCamp. So that's what we are going to do today. So before I jump into it, I want to ask all of you, and I'm going to open my chat window and ask all of you, why do you think today is important? What is special about today? Any answers there? I've opened the chat window. I think you guys can see. Why do you think what is special about today? Population Day? Yeah, Adina, you never know. You can't change the past and future is uncertain. Yes, quite philosophical, Yusuf. Okay, what else? Give me the answer that I am seeking. What else? Learning? Absolutely. For HR, every day is new day. Quite like that, quite. Every day is special, so today is special. Truly, because we live today. Awesome. You want to get to learn something new. True. Finding path? Yes. Today is Tuesday. Absolutely. Many are waiting out in such an opportunity, and I've got to thank you so much for saying that, Amruta. Increment in knowledge. Truly, Sneha. So I'll tell you what happened today. I was talking to Knowledge Day for me. Talking to one of my friends, and he called me up and he said, Archana, today is special. I said, why today is special? He said, today is Philanthropy Day. I said, oh, really? I said, what else? He said, today is also the day when Sachin Tendulkar debuted in Indian cricket and played against Pakistan. I said, okay, what else? He said, the biggest thing is today is Tuesday, a day after Monday. And we all decided to be together, and like beautifully said by most of you, today we are going to learn something interesting and new in just 30 minutes. I have another question. We are going to cover, all this. We are going to cover different roles within HR, to cover various responses or responsibilities or roles that HR plays. We're also going to cover what is the evolution of HR that has happened and the various opportunities available to all these professionals. We are going to cover that. But I have a question from all of you. Why join HR? Why to do HR? Why not something else? Why not marketing, sales? Why not finance? Why not something different altogether? Like, become a photographer or, become a chef. Why HR? What is your reason to attend this? Or let me put it differently. What is your reason of attending this? It's field for someone love with people and build relationships. Okay. Manage people. HR can change the future beautifully. Okay. Sakina, you get to interact with people in the field of HR. Yes. HR is another take. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Because right now we have degree in admin field. Okay. Mediator of employee and employer. I feel I'm confident about myself to deal with resources. Beautiful. HR has ability to understand people. An internship in recruitment and got interested in this field. Very nice, Amanat. In the end, it's all about people. It all boils down to people. Absolutely mukta. It's passion from graduate to, okay, hiring and firing, HR, who can understand people, okay. You get to interact with different thought people, okay. Divya, very nice. To know people beyond their CV. Sufia, beautifully said. Beautifully said. So I'll tell you, these years, like, you guys are writing, these years I have seen multiple answers to this question. Recently, I've interacted and hired for my own teams. I have interacted and hired for people around these jobs who were looking for jobs within HR. I've gone out and hired people who had no history in HR but wanted to make their career in HR. So I've hired across levels, I have hired across industries, and I've got various multitude of answers around it. And they were very intrigued. Some were radically out there. So once I was talking to someone, I said, "Why do you want to join HR?" He said, "I don't like numbers, and hence I want to join HR." Someone said, like you guys said, "I know that I'm going to deal with human emotions, hence I like HR." Someone said, "HR is very easy. Kya karna hai? We just have to make rangoli and ask people to make rangoli. That's it. Nothing to it." But I'll tell you the most interesting and radical answer I've got ever is from a friend of mine. So he happened to be someone who had been traveling all through his life. He's not from India, he's from Israel. And he happened to go to a place called Italy for his master's. While he was in Italy, he was having a conversation with the consular, with the job counselor. And the job counselor, and you understand Italian, not the is his first language. Israeli Hebrew is his first language. So English wasn't the first language. So both of them were not that comfortable in. So both of them were having a conversation. And this guy goes, he said, "Okay, what do you like? Abhiyat, tell us, what do you like? What is it that you want to make your career in?" So Abhiyat goes, "I like to travel." He said, "Okay, so do you want to get into travel?" He said, "No." "So what else do you like?" He said, "I like cooking." "So you want to become a chef?" He said, "No." He said, "What do you like?" He said, I like to read. I like to write." "You want to become an author?" He said, "No." He said, "Then what do you like?" And Aviyat kept thinking. And then finally he said, "I'm not able to understand what you're saying." He said, "No, what do you like? What is it that interests you?" And Aviyat, for a flip of a second, said, "I like girls." And he said, "Okay, is that so? Then do you want to make your career in HR?" So that's also a myth that most people feel that HR is one area in which you don't have to like numbers. You don't have to get to really analyze numbers. HR is all about making rangoli. HR is all about dealing with human emotions. In HR, you can't be an introvert. You need to be an extrovert to be in HR. So these are some myths that we are going to kind of break them today and kind of trying to get the pedestal that we understand truly what HR is. So let's start with all of you. And anytime you have questions, we have Sumit here who's going to answer. Okay? What has happened? One more aspect that I would give you about HR. You would have seen one thing that with time, most organizations or most departments within HR, most department within organizations haven't really gone through an identity change or a nomenclature change or a name. Imagine marketing and sales had always remained marketing and sales, right? Finance more so has always remained finance. You might have added a couple of other things to finance, but more so, overall, finance remained finance. Look at HR. How many changes HR has seen? Remember the times when Ford would have started his factory, when we had Ford, what happened at that time? Ford started a factory for the first time, which was all about mass production, right? So there was a conveyor belt. He hired people. People were working day in and day out. And there were no kind of conducive environment which were given to these people. What typically would have people would have come, performed, went back. No one would have taken care of their well-being. No one would have thought about any basic hygiene that could have been provided. And I must say that you guys should go out and watch a movie called North Country. It is actually the reality that would have at that time. So, those things would have happened. And suddenly someone would have realized we need to keep a track record of how many people come in, how many people go out, how much each of them is are producing, and so on and so forth. Someone after some time looking at the human conditions would have realized we need to introduce something which can create a well-being for these people. So all these things have happened, right? So imagine where HR started. HR started somewhere like a bookkeeping. HR went on to become someone who started taking care of people. HR went on to become someone who looked and wanted to develop people. HR wanted to look and manage people in such a way that they become productive. So many things happened within HR. The name HR changed from personal admin to human resource management, and look at some of the names that have come now. Any ideas, any suggestions around HR? What could be the nomenclature? What could be the names here? Can you tell us? Any idea, guys? People management, Saurabh, nice. Acquisition, part of HR. We'll cover that also. Vicky will cover that. Business partner, yes, Rashmita. Payroll, correct. Change agent, human resource coordinator, scheduler. We'll cover all this. Retaining employee, talent, human resource management, Sakina, lovely. Man planning, yes, part of HR. Employee management, employee relations, job satisfaction, part of HR, Narendra. And we'll cover that. Recruitment, part of HR. Manpower management, part of HR. Training and development, part of HR. Talent acquisition, part of HR. Creating ideal work culture. Yes, very important for HR. Learning and development, absolutely one of the department within HR. Job analysis, yes, important for HR. Work life cycle, compliances and policies, absolutely. What else? Lovely, Purva. Human capital management, absolutely. HRM analytics, yes, Ujjwal. Decision making, yes, very much. Performance appraisals, yes. Comp and Ben, part of HR, absolutely. Performance appraisal, Mitesh, absolutely. Absolutely. Quality of work, succession planning, HR master, data management, career progression. Yusuf, part of HR. Correct. Saying this, let's quickly run through what all. So some of the nomenclatures that we have across industries for HR are these. Champion of employee, eternal delight. There is a which has come called Chief Happiness Officer. Have you guys heard of it? Go search for it. You'll love it. And exactly read through it, what all these people are doing. They are only responsible of creating surveys and seeing how many people are happy on that particular within the organization. Talent relations, partner, employee experiences, people relations, people, culture and talent department, people resource center. Like some of you spoke about manpower planning, resource management. Yes, people resource center. Department of human experience, happiness department, like I said, human capital management. So these are some of the nomenclatures which have evolved time for human resource management or personal department, like our fathers or grandfathers have known it. So quickly, I want to just talk about this so that we can talk about the larger picture and try to understand what all categories each of the role within HR do. So if you actually see, what I kind of touched upon is very internal and very substantial. Why? Because what happened initially was that HR was a very minimalistic part of the HR function. If you actually look at it, right? See, HR strategy is smaller and transaction is bigger. Administration is again bigger, right? This used to be the traditional way of thinking within HR. That's what HR was doing. Bookkeeping, understanding how the salaries would be given. Everything was transactional. There was nothing which was automated. There were no bots. There was nothing which had a process, nothing. People will come in, people will go out, they'll find out, or will do a register attendance, and that's it. So it was all transactional, it was all administration, that's it. But imagine what happened. So what happened basically when COVID came into play, the entire role of HR got changed. Suddenly people started looking at reassessing what HR had always been doing. Why? Because employee well-being became the priority for most of the organizations. HR became the forefront people understand at that moment that HR is the most important function for any organization. Like some of you beautifully said, that if HR is not there, if people is not there, you can never drive any agenda. And that is something that really entices people to start thinking. All the leaders, way they started thinking, HR should have the seat at the table. And that's exactly what happened while these years passed and COVID hit us. It might be bad times for us, but then it kind of gave us a time to pause and look at our people strategy. And that's exactly what happened during this time. So today, HR is a strategic partner, a real strategic partner for any business. Okay, so now quickly understand, is HR having any role? Where does the HR role actually comes into play? Let's try to understand. So between what I have seen in my entire career, HR role doesn't stop, starts at the very beginning. We decide to get a person on board, right? You decide a person to get on a board, you understand, you categorize a candidate profiling, this is the guy I need to, right? This person should join the organization. What typically would happen? You will engage with the, so you start from the engagement, the time you have to build a connection, kind of relationship with the candidate to ensure that the candidate comes in. So the time you identify the recruitment, or you recruit or source or give the candidate an experience so that he comes on board, right? Then what typically would happen? The second point, onboarding. Once you identify who's going to come on the board, what you will typically do? Okay, now you come, we'll do an induction for you. You do the job orientation. We'll tell you these are your KRAs, these are your KPIs, these are the formalities you need to do. This is what the organization culture is all about. And this is what we are going to ensure that you have a wonderful career with us. This is what you will do, right? Then what HR would do again, as an HR person, you look at the rewards and recognition. You will see if the person is performing, not performing. Look at the way you have want to reward this person. Typically, HR will also look at payroll. Why payroll? Salary is what we all are working for, right? Right? Money at the end of the day. So we'll do that. And daily, I don't know why this has a font like that. Daily, what HR is doing? Daily, HR is checking with you. Daily, HR is understand your well-being. Daily, HR is trying to see if you're covered in insurance. Daily, HR is trying to see if you have any problem in marking the attendance or not, right? And then also, engagement perspective, look at point 6. Policies are being reiterated. Action surveys are being conducted. Some organizations are doing it quarterly, some bi-annually, some annually, but trying to understand the pulse. There are organizations which are also doing surveys every week, just to understand, those happiness officers I spoke about. So those people, to understand how HR or the organization is feeling today, just because of that. And who is behind all? The HR is behind all this. Operations, apps, scheduling, separations, of course. When you have to let go of a person, you have to do the offboarding, exit interviews, and then the biggest thing right now that every industry, about every organization is talking about is alumni meet. What is that? You don't really let a person go. In Hindi they say, "Kabhi alvida na kehna." So that's what they do. They don't let a person go. Why? Because they are saying it's a smaller pool. It's a pool which is available now. We know this person one day or the other. There might be a possibility that the person will come back. And then, of course, at various levels, there are various performance developments or learning needs that you will keep doing for your people, right? Okay, so this is exactly what HR is doing. I find this slide very interesting. This is interesting because if you look at this cycle, everything is connected. You move one, the second will move. You move the second, third would move, fourth and henceforth, right? Now, if you look at it, what is important? Redesign and automate processes, right? What happened during these times? What came into play in HR? Earlier, process was all manual. Everything was manual. Your attendance was manual. You couldn't work home. Why? Because you did not have laptops or any connectivity. Where would you work from, right? There were no hybrid culture. There was no gig workforce. There was nothing which was automated. So for everything, there was a paper. But what happened in the changing landscape or in when HR became more strategic, what actually started happening is that all HR processes started becoming automated, which led to which led to what? Which led to driving various process improvement. Once you understand what the data is telling you, you'll do process improvement. Simple, right? That's what HR had been doing all this, which we failed to understand. We just thought HR is just doing the rangoli, something else, what HR is doing, hardly anything, right? Improve employee experience. What would it lead to? Once the data will start talking to you, what would happen? You will create better experiences for your people. And there are multitude of things we can talk about here, but perhaps let's, just keep that for sessions that we are going to have in future for this course. Skill development and acquiring talent. That's very natural, right? You will develop these people and acquire the best talent from the market. Stakeholder management to solve critical challenge. What would happen? You'll understand what your data is talking. Automatically, every piece will fall in place, right? Okay. So saying this, let's move on to something very important. So if I can ask you guys, what do you think are the new or the new competencies that with the changing paradigm, what do you think would be the new possibilities? Sorry, not the possibilities. What do you think are the new skills that the HR person should have? Any idea? Empathy, data analytics, beautiful. Anyone else? Data analytics, CRS, okay. Smart working, correct, Amma? Database predictive analysis, tricks, very true. Human psychology, all-rounder, team working. We are very nice. Compliance knowledge, very important. Time management, visualization, Tableau, absolutely. Government rules, Saurabh. Health and wellness, smart work, absolutely. Critical thinking, very, very important. Stress management, right. Ethics, yes. Future planning. Hi, Sharon, lovely point. And that's also something we are going to cover in our course. Data management, clear-cut communication, yeah, absolutely. R&D, yes, absolutely approved. What else? Problem solving abilities, Sakina, right? Team management, quality, create belongingness, very nice point. Onboarding cycle, yes, to understand that. Management skills, communication skills, training, right? Decision making, Archna, thank you. Performance testing, train people, Srinidhi, very nice. Team management, correct. So let's quickly go on to understand what are the abilities that HR should have. Okay, HR need to have knowledge of business, attention to detail, time management, process management, self-direction, communication. But what are the new ones HR needs? Like most of you said, analytical abilities, problem solving, systematic thinking, ambiguity to fight with it. To deal with ambiguity. We have all seen what happened in COVID. We have all seen how HR was instrumental in driving in the organizations. Adaptability. Then we see how various organizations were able to adapt themselves to the changing platforms within technology and who catalyst their HR. Teamwork, absolutely. If you can't do teamwork, you are not a successful person at all. Insightfulness. Why? Because if you don't understand people, if you don't understand systems, organizations, processes, and you can never be a successful HR person. I can say that with time. And that would typically mean someone who said that I do not understand numbers is not going to work out now. Not possible. Someone who said that I am okay if I don't understand people, HR is only making rangoli, they have to eat their words back. That's not the case at all when you are dealing with someone in HR or you're working in HR, right? Okay. So now let's understand and kind of really get the curtains of what demystifying HR is all about. What are the various roles? Remember, we spoke about how HR is, in terms of how HR is in terms of what it does, right? From time a person is hired till the time a person is retained or retired. So let's try to understand from a hire to a retire or to what are the activities or the departments within HR. Some of you said talent acquisition, remember? Someone said talent management. Someone said compliances, remember? Someone said salary, compensation, payroll. So all this, let's understand what are the departments, right? Okay. So the first one is talent acquisition. What is talent acquisition? It is the new nomenclature for recruitment. But it is much more than recruitment. Why? Because talent acquisition is a full-fledged person. Who is a talent acquisition specialist? Someone understands how to attract talent, how to attract candidates who are not active, but also passive, who are not looking out, right? And someone who understands how to ensure that the person gets on board. That's a talent acquisition person, right? What are various roles within that? Sourcing executive. Who is a sourcing executive? He's someone who knows how to find those profiles, right? You need a salesperson ki profile, that person will look out, will say, oh, LinkedIn would work. No, Naukri would work. And we are going to cover all these sourcing strategies also while we do this program. Okay, so it's very important. Whatever we in here, we are going to deep dive into each one of them while we take up these sessions in the coming months while you enroll yourself into the sessions or into the talent acquisition specialist, who is a end-to-end person, right? Sourcing recruiter might be limited work. Recruiter might be someone who's just calling, but talent acquisition specialist is a next level within this role. So someone who goes through step 1 to step 2. Okay. Employer brand manager, like I said, someone who can attract talent. Technical recruiter are people who are hired only in technical line. Campus recruiters, very important role. These are guys who are going out and hiring from the campuses and trying to understand which campus is hiring the best or is having the best talent. I remember at one point in time when I was part of Bank of America, at that time we understood, we kind of slashed down best colleges to pick our talent from. And some of them were also tier 2 colleges. It is a very, very important role. And of course, I don't know why, typo, but this got repeated. Then what is the second one? Second is talent management. So once you onboard a person, right? Once you onboard a person, what would typically happen? You onboard a person, you have to take care of his needs. It could be wellness need, it could be management need, it could be, a need for development, it could be a need for performance reviews, to understand what a person is doing, or it could be any kind of a recognition need, right? So basically what you do workforce planning executive. Why? Okay, how many resources are needed in this department? Who will do that? Workforce planning executive. And this is all automated in today's time. So you basically do the analysis, right? Onboarding specialist is someone who is looking at what is he doing. He's looking at, okay, you have identified, you have given the person, you know this is the guy who's going to join. Okay, I'll ensure that the induction is, and I'll take care so that he understands the culture of the organization. He's an onboarding specialist. Performance specialist are people who are going to do the reviews every day with you, right? People are going to guide you through and say, okay, it is not just a year process, year end, not that is going to sit with you and will tell you have to perform this. No, a good HR person is going to handhold you and tell you what are the expectations from that role that you need to perform every day. That's a good person. And which category would he fall into? Performance management specialist. HR business partner is someone who is like a talent acquisition specialist, is an end-to-end. So he'll take care of all the needs. And most organizations actually have all these above roles covered under one head, which is HR business partner. Employee experience executives, this is actually new, in which people are trying to curate programs. You enhances the employee experience in terms of how the culture of the organization can be presented to them. So this is, and there are various other nitty-gritties within that, and we'll cover in the HR. So in the HR course, so you'll get to understand this a little more. R&R is reward and recognition specialist, who's going to understand various rewards recognition available in the industry, do the best practice benchmarking, understand what would suit your culture and how is it that you can drive. So might be that for generation, and I don't know which, there might, it can be, I don't know the age group that you guys are into. I'm hoping most of you either are millennials or Gen Z, provided you don't ask my age. So most of you guys will understand that, at your Gen Z, millennials, mostly you need a purpose to be part of an organization. And that, when would that happen? When there is a proper reward and recognition program which truly entices you to perform better in an organization. Culture agent, who's going to build the culture of the organization. So these are multitudes of roles within talent management. Imagine how vast HR is. And one of you said DI specialist. What is that? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. That specialist. Then what would happen typically once all this is taken care? Maslow's theory of hierarchy. You move on to something like self-realization. What is that? Learning. What do you do in that? You try to enhance or upscale your skills. You become a trainer, you become a instructional designer, content developer. What is this content, right? Someone would have developed this for us. For this case, it is us, quality assurance specialist, to understand that everything is proper and it is as per the market. There is no plagiarism which is happening. E-learning executives, someone who understand LMS very nicely for you is LMS administrator, graphic designer, someone who can design various graphics for you. HR compliance is very tricky. Why HR compliance are tricky? Because most of this you are dealing with external parties. So, if I also talk about these four and to give you a glimpse, imagine the kind of people would affect or HR would touch. You are not just confined to an employee. You're also talking to your business guys. You're also talking to your CEO, CHRO, CFO, not just your own department, but your impact is being felt by other departments also. So imagine HR can have a ripple effect, which most of the functions hardly have. But HR has that ripple effect every day, every day. Okay, comp and ben, very important. Someone who can understand what is happening in the industry, what are the best practices for salaries, and do a payroll for us, do that compensation reviews for us, and understand how much percent increase should be given to each individual every. And HR analytics, like some of you said very nicely, someone who can understand data, has data to the back of the hand, as they say, right? Someone who looks at number and say, okay, this is what the number is saying, and this is what the data has to be done, and what this would happen, and where this will play, where these people play a very important role. They play a very important role affecting all these 5 other sections. Why? Because this data flows into the data of all these people. So HR analytics is very important. And this course, we are going to extensively touch on HR analytics, right? So this is primarily what are the HR roles are. Let us also touch upon what was and what is, right? So imagine, let's read through these. It's very interesting to see how the nomenclature for each of the HR functions have changed. See, HR assistant, right? HR supervisor, specialist. What is HR specialist, HR assistant, HR assistants, HR supervisor, HR specialist would have become today? Typically, business partners, employee relationship manager, business fair practice hiring manager. Where would this fall under? Recruitment. Talent acquisition specialist, where would this fall under? In recruitments, right? And human resource officer. I remember HR journalist used to be a very coveted designation at one point in time. And now if you tell them that I want to hire you as an HR journalist, I remember I was hiring for one position way back in an organization which was the IT product company. And I was hiring, and I had a discussion with this girl, and I told her, I said, I'm going to hire you as an AM for employee relations. She said, no, ma'am, I don't want this AM position. Just give me HR VP. I said, why would that be? She said, no, ma'am. And I'm talking about way back in 2019. She said, no, ma'am, HR VP is the new thing. No one wants to get hired as a assistant manager or something. So I think that's how it has evolved. Like I said, in parallel with any other function across the organization, HR has really evolved, and you should be proud to be part of HR, because HR is the only function where you can really make an impact, where you can truly ensure that if you take one right decision, you can really change the life of many people. That can happen only in HR. That is the beauty. Other functions also, but at a very senior level. In HR, generally at the junior level, even if someone is not able to understand, imagine you're sitting with someone and they are not able to understand how a leave policy would work. What do? You'll sit and you'll handhold as an HR BP or HR business partner, and you'll tell them about policy. how happy that person would have been, right? That is the best part about HR. Wherever you start, even at the lowest level, when you're starting your career, I remember as a recruiter, when I started, there had many lives I would have impacted. We used to train people, go appear for interviews, how to for interviews. We have done that all, right? So I think there is a larger impact that you can create. Workforce analytics, reward and recognition person, HR compliances, manager hota tha pehle. HR technical supervisor, imagine. HR director, employee experience executive, imagine. How nice it sounds. Diversity and inclusion manager, imagine, right? So these are some of the new nomenclature or new designations which have come into play, which truly talks about the value that HR carries. And this is best about HR. People have really valued HR. HR, the seat at the table. Finally, the tables have gone long and more robust. Why? Because now they have an HR person sitting along while the business decisions are being made. That's the importance of HR. Okay. So what are the rules? Like we were talking about the happiness officer. So what do you think are the rules of the future? Chief Productivity Officer. Who, you can really imagine. Someone looking at workforce planning, someone who is saying capacity planning, someone who's understanding who's doing what and how much can the person do more, right? Human technology integration specialist. Imagine all the technological changes which had been happening. There has to be someone who, besides that, also understand how to make those changes happen. It is not easy to maneuver from one technology to another. Why? Because it is all about ensuring that the right data gets transferred, right? Someone has to do that work. This person would do that work. Work from home facilitator, the hybrid work culture, the gig workforce, what it entices to? It entices to creation of a new role called work from home facilitator. Human machine teaming manager. Someone, there is a very interesting anecdote here. And this was way back when Siemens started and had factories. And I was reading through, and somewhere it was mentioned that when Siemens' old employees were leaving the organization, the CHRO was really worried. He said, "What am I going to do? All my old are going." So he said, "Why?" So one of the junior guys asked him, said, "Why are you worried?" He said, "I'm worried because these guys were the machine whisperers." I said, "Machine whisperers? What do you mean? They don't have to do anything. They'll just go to machine, they'll do some fuss, 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 and the machine start working. I do not know how is it that we are going to train the junior resources." And at that moment, they realize they need people who can be development executives for them, who can do a buddy system. Remember, some organization play this role, a buddy system. You come in, you join, buddy is given to you. Why? Because to include you in the organization quickly. So they introduce a concept in which they had one senior person, a new person would join in, they will do the buddy, and they automatically created much better individuals, because these individuals were not only tuned to the new perspective of work, but also learning from someone who was senior. So learning, like most of you said, stops at any level, be it my level, be it your level, be it any level. Even when we grow old, learning shouldn't stop, because the moment I'll stop learning, I'll perish, right? This is what HR is all about. Now, before I do this, okay, I want to leave you with this thought. What is the thought? Thought is, what are the skills needed by human resources to operate in an agile and evolving work environment? And how we'll do this? We will talk about this more in the program that we are going to conduct as part of Master Union and KPMG integration in this immersive program on HR management. So that's it. Thank you, my friends. It was really a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming over and becoming part of this. I thoroughly enjoyed.
Thank you so much, Archana. I think your energy has totally wiped up my day already. I was hearing you throughout. Before we take the questions, so Medha very rightly has put the correct link for the course as well. So if you have any queries, you might just visit the link and get all your queries answered about the HR course that we have partnered with KPMG. And I'll open the floor for any questions that if there are any.
Lisa has a question. See, she's saying that compliance manager have the same responsibilities. Nisha, no. HR compliance is someone who HR compliance guy is someone who has to deal with government authorities, and HR someone who should know the rules and regulations and various compliances that the organizations, that the government has to imply with. So you get to be someone who is aware. Yes, if you have that knowledge and you want to also play the role of someone who wants to do HR business partnering with the businesses, absolutely. But most of the organizations have seen that this being a very, very focused area, compliances. What kind of job profiles and CTC someone can expect who will complete? So, Naman, that truly depends upon the colleges or the expectations that the colleges set with the organization. So, it depends upon the kind of organizations which will come to your college while the campus recruitments would happen. So, truly different. For HR analytics required to learn programming. Not exactly, not exactly. And we are going to cover that. Can Yusuf is saying, can a person from operations side of sales and marketing have a career in HR? Yusuf, that's a very valid point, and I really want to kind of raise that here also, that this is one program which is going to encourage you if you want to make to move from any field that you were in to HR. So don't worry about that at all. I think this comprehensive immersive program is someone which will ensure that you become a strong and an evolving HR professional once you do this program. So don't worry about the line you're coming with or the profession you had earlier before you took this program up. How difference between HR operations and HR journalist profile? This is a very interesting question, and I think covered a little, but this requires more in-depth analysis, and we can do that while we are part of the program. Is MBA or work experience compulsory for making career in top companies like KPMG? You do this program, you will realize it is not. Let me tell you that, Ravi. Abhishek is saying, are we getting any certification? Absolutely, yes. You will be getting a certification at the end of this. If anyone has experience in US IT recruitment, it's easier to show possibility to get into the suitable role in the top companies. Vicky is asking, someone has a US IT recruitment? Is it easier for domestic recruitment? Absolutely, Vicky, because at the end of the day, what is important? Understand what recruitment is, and that's it. And then you can you can maneuver. It's like how to reach airport, whether you take an international flight or a domestic, doesn't matter. Refer to the link shared in the program. Okay. What are skills looking for recruiters by now? Savita, there are multitude of skills. And let me tell you, program is going to cover all those competencies and will make you a all-rounder recruiter on it. So it's a wonderful program. We are looking for. Thank you, Srinidhi. That's so nice of you to say. See, I also should tell you guys that if you have a liking for HR, you truly feel that this is your calling, join in. If you really enjoy what you're doing, then you won't be like my friend who is asking, it is not Monday. Shukar hai, it is Sunday, Tuesday. Okay. So if you like something that you enjoy, you will rock it. Don't worry about it at all. And if you have a passion for HR, come over. We'll train you enough to become very successful. That's our promise. How can employee experience get a better and setting? Sharon, I think what we can do is there is a wonderful masterclass that we covered here by my friend and colleague Sonal. So we can share that link. I think we can help share that link, and Sharon can have a look at that. Ma'am, what is the course duration and fee? Aditi, if you can put that over.
I think fee would be there in the link shared for the website, and there are definitely scholarships around. So that would be a little subjective. And I've also shared the link of the challenge, and that particular challenge is to basically share a merit list of sorts for the scholarships. And the duration is 6 months for the course.
Nilesh, this is all KPMG run program. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Sharon. Absolutely, Sneha. It is part of the discussion. Comp and benefit is one of the, if you go through the curriculum, you will see it's there. It's a very curriculum that we have, and we are going to cover multitude of things within that. Yes, Sakshi, we are. Thank you, Narendra. Thank you, Sneha.
I think regarding the internships, if I can put that out there, so top 10% of the students from the cohort will be receiving like an all-paid internship in KPMG India. So that's also an opportunity out there.
Thank you, Balal. Thank you, Archna. It's nice to say your name again. Huh? Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Anandan. B student can switch. Absolutely, why not? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Divya. Thank you, Kalavati. Is there any scope to get internship in UAE? That is a question that perhaps we can help, right, Aditi? We have a very strong
Placement cell in place.
a very strong placement cell in Master Union. Yes. We are aiming at December, Vicky, first week. Thank you, Abhilash. Nabil, okay. Perfect. I think then, yes. Thank you, Amal. Thank you, Abhishek. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Is there any placement program? Aditi just said the 10% of the top candidates are going to get it in KPM. We have a very strong placement cell at Master Union. And understand you're dealing with who are in day and day out, dealing with multitudes of projects, programs, organizations. So surely, there are multiple things that we can provide. Master University students get the jobs. Kalavati, yes, if there is an opportunity and you're suitable, why not? Is there any difference in HR analytics and SAP in HR? Savita, that's a very interesting question, and we can answer that while we do. But to tell you, not. SAP is just a facilitation to get the HR analytics. We'll talk about it. Master of Social Work, yes, if you join this program, you can make a career in HR. Absolutely, Kalavati. So the next session, Nabil, will be on 22nd of November. 21st or 22nd, right? And we are going to connect with you. There's another masterclass that we plan to do on 21st or 22nd November. We can confirm the date, or you can visit Master Union and you'll get to see. Yes, Mani, it's completely online. 22nd November, yeah. So Meta just confirmed. Kalavati, then this is a program for you because then you can cover everything. What is taught in HR in just 6 months? I require internship by June. This program will be a 6 months. So if we start in December, January, Feb, March, April, May, June. Yeah, we'll complete by June, July. So yeah, Sakshi, that could be possible if you are among the top 10%. This is a weekend program, Prakriti. And it's going to be a 2-day week. Maggie is not mentioned in the link. Aditi, I think there is a problem with the fee. What the timing? We have to still close on the timing, but I think it will be in the between 10 to 11. Okay, Divya. Thank you, Ravi. So, Nilesh, I suggest you go through the website. There is a place in which we have completely mentioned the entire curriculum. Go through the curriculum. If you still have questions, you can always write down to us and we can clarify those questions. Thank you, Prakriti. Yeah, Abhishek, absolutely. We're just waiting if we can get some questions. Absolutely, Abhishek. Carry on and have a wonderful rest of the evening. Yes, why not, Deepika? Because this is going to be the practical aspect of HR, which is mostly not covered. And that is the entire agenda and that is the entire philosophy around this. Thank you, Dhanavat, Divya, Abhishek. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Ravi.
To answer what Kalavati is asking, this is a hybrid course. Although all the sessions would be happening online, that is on weekends through Zoom. But you will get an opportunity to visit the campus and network with your peers and KPMG masters also. So we call it hybrid. All right, Archana, I think it is 8, and we have also answered a lot of questions here. So we can end it for the day. Really look forward to hosting another masterclass with you and the team. So thank you for a lovely session here.
Thank you, everyone.